joining. Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Awesome. So good to see you. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've been here. I hope you remember who I am, right? So, hey, hi, Parker. How you doing? Yeah, I don't hear you, but good to see you. We haven't seen you for a while. Awesome. I see Michael. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I'm even better because you're here and we get to share.
All right, great.
All right. So, as usual, I like to kick this off with tell us what's new. Tell us what you're doing in the drone industry. Tell us any great wins you might have had this week. I see Johnny. Real quick shout out actually to Johnny because Johnny is the one who does in his spare time, he does all my editing for the videos. So big shout out to you, Johnny. Thank you so much. Yeah, look at there. I love it. So thank you, Johnny, because I know you have a full-time job plus, and you still take the time to do this. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Good to see you. Awesome. Fred. Oh, wonderful to see you too. All right. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Fred, you got any shout outs, any great victories that you want to share with us?
No, I just jumped on to say hi to Kyle and watch you guys work.
All right. There you go. There's your hi, Kyle.
Hey,
All
Fred, how's it
right.
going?
Hello, Kyle.
Awesome. Nice. Good to see everybody. All right, we're going to take a quick minute here, make sure we let other people in. Hi, Jill. I reached out to Jill about a project that I'm working on. Thank you for the feedback there. That's why networking is so important because you just never know what direction you'll be going in life and what you'll be doing with your drone. And so networking is important. And that being said, hi, Amy. Great to see you. Amy was a moderator at our panel there at Commercial UAV, did a fantastic job. You want to know somebody that is a wealth of knowledge, boy, check with Amy, right?
Gotcha, Desi. Thank you so much for that plug. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's take a quick minute and put into our chat about yourselves. Like, how do we contact you? What are you doing in the drone industry? Some people may not even be pilots. Some people may only be pilots. So put that in there. Let us know. It's all about networking, and that's what we want to hear. Hi, Angela. Angela, see you. Good to see you. And Tammy, I love it. Great to see you here today. All right. So let's get that chat going. I see a couple people popping in there. Hi, Terry. Awesome. You got any great drone stories to share? I got a minute.
Um, I recently shot a series. I was asked to come up and shoot 3 construction warehouses, and it turned out to be 5 and almost 1,000,000 square feet. So great. I was happy I had enough batteries.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. That is what we love to hear.
Yes.
Awesome. Congrats. Great job. Awesome. All right. So I see the chat is going. So love to keep it going. We're going to, I have a couple of announcements really quick, but then I'm going to segue over to our spotlight speaker and we're going to keep that chat going because that's where we want to make sure that we're networking. All right. So I'm going to actually put a couple of links into our chat for us. As you know, I love Vertical Space Magazine, and I'm continuing to go back to it and read all these articles and stuff. And I love the Drone Light Show right on the cover of this past one. But I also want to point out that Loretta has a fantastic article in there about safety management systems. And so I'm going to put a link into the Vertical Space Magazine. I also want to let you know that the San Diego Drone Pros tomorrow evening, we are doing a Drone Pro webinar. And so everybody's welcome. And I am going to put a link into our chat for that as well. All right, I'll put that in here really quick. And then I know this is what everybody's waiting for, right? We're going to segue over to our spotlight speaker. Super excited to hear from Kyle. Kyle New, he's with Full-Time Drones, and he has a great product release that I can't wait to hear more about. He has been a drone service provider. He's based in San Diego. They specialize in telecommunications, utility inspections, mapping, surveying with LiDAR technology. So I'm going to segue over to you, Kyle. Kyle, thank you very much for joining us today. And I will make you spotlight for everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've followed the podcast for a while, so it's exciting to be on as a spotlight speaker. For those who don't know me, my name is Kyle New. I've been in the industry since 2017, working in a bunch of different verticals, but mostly in utility inspections and telecom infrastructure inspections. And we also do quite a bit of mapping and LiDAR work. And so we launched our company. I've been a part of 2 startups. The first one, we kind of started going down the software and AI route and eventually sold, and then started up Full-Time Drones at the beginning of 2022. And started growing in the utility inspection and the telecom infrastructure inspection space.
Awesome. Awesome. So good to have you here sharing with us all that experience and knowledge.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
do you have a presentation that you would like to bump over to?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just going to share the platform. It'll look slightly different if you're a user, because I'm on the admin side of things. But yeah, and just to kind of segue and introduce it, like I mentioned, in 2022, we started as a drone service provider, working nationwide with utility inspections and telecom infrastructure inspections. And our biggest bottleneck that we ran into was training and access to training for pilots as we were growing. And it either involved me traveling to them traveling to me, or us taking some of our guys' time out of the field to spend time training pilots. And we noticed the in-person training, you didn't retain 100% of the information the first time around. It would take a little bit of time. So we ended up developing and putting together an online training program for the 2 verticals that we were working in, so that we could try to, 1, expedite the training, and then 2, everybody could have access to it in the field as they were working. And we saw our turnover rate go to almost nothing. We were retaining about 90% of the pilots. Guys were going from 7 or 8 weeks to really catch on and start making good money to, by the end of week 2, they were starting to move along, and they were very happy with the money they were making. So it was an aha moment for me personally. And we continued to grow, and it kind of sat in the back of my mind for about 6 months that this is missing in our industry, especially when it comes to what I consider the trades of the industry. So I see courses out there that are for mapping, or for, how to operate your drone, and even some with photography and cinematography, but there's nothing out there for, this is how you perform utility inspections. This is what utility companies expect. Here's kind of a common knowledge language of the industry, and same for telecom. We've brought in subject matter experts to do, even crazy, unique stuff like offshore oil rig inspections, and, getting into like methane and gas detection. So we've built out a platform that once we hit full stride, we'll have 18 different industries. And we've also created it to be a tiered platform. So we have a beginner, intermediate, and an advanced level. So if you're new to drones and you're coming in and trying to figure out where your spot is, and you join our beginner membership, you have access to Part 107 training. So if you're not certified yet, you can access that and get certified. And then it'll introduce you to, I think we have 10 or 11 different industries in the basic courses. And so you can take all of them for the same monthly or annual subscription rather than having to invest a lot of money in one course to find out maybe it's not something that you like, or maybe it's a service that's difficult to sell in your area. So that was the goal behind putting a subscription base and access to everything. Was you're not going to limit yourself. And I think starting out in the industry as a drone pilot, 'cause I did it myself, I've seen so many of our guys do it. If you only learn one niche, then a lot of times you're not going to be sustained successful. And so it's easy to walk away and go find something else. Whereas if you feel very well versed in 3 or 4 different verticals, you can stay busy year round, especially if you're willing to travel a little bit and willing to contract out. So that was the idea that we had behind the subscription and the tiered model. And so once you get into our intermediate level tier, then you start to get into the nuts and bolts and the specialization training. And, we've been very fortunate. A lot of our clients have been okay with us recording training material on actual projects that we're working on. And I feel like that also adds a lot of validity and credibility to what we're teaching. Is, this is an actual project. We're going to show you as much as we can. Obviously they had to go through and vet all the training material to make sure we weren't giving away, any sensitive information. But so I think that's one thing that also kind of sets our platform apart is we're doing it in real time with real projects rather than saying, hey, I'm out in the field and I'm going to show you how to map. And then once you get up to our advanced level training, that's when you start to bridge between being a contract pilot who can go work on any contract in the country to it's also going to help you build a business. And so aside from all the technical learning, we also have a mastermind course. We have drones with social media marketing, and then building a business. We also have breakout cohort sessions in our advanced level. And so you'll have a 12-week live class where we go on and we're doing some of the training material, but there's projects, there's assignments, there's stuff we go and do with some of the asset owners we work with in telecom, where you can actually go and fly a site and upload your data, and we'll review everything and run 3D models for you so that you can get hands-on training. And then coupled with that, we also are doing in-person training events. We'll start out once a quarter. If demand is high enough, we'll move to once a month. Huge pro is that it's in San Diego and it's like 72 degrees outside right now. So I think nobody's going to say no to the location because it's the weather's always incredible here. So that's our advanced level training. And so I'm really excited about it. It's something that for years I've had the idea and I've always hoped somebody would do. And I've kind of soft pitched it to different people to say, hey, you should do this. I think it's really important. And then, eventually it was like, nobody else is going to do it. I guess I'm going to have to do it. And so started doing it. I feel very fortunate. I've networked with a lot of incredible people in the industry. One of them being Fred. I worked with Fred for years. And, so I've been able to have some subject matter experts come on in industries that I'm not as well versed in. And 1, I get to learn a lot, so I love it. And 2, you have, again, the real world experience, which I think is very important. Is, I'm going to show you how to fly a cell tower on a cell site that I'm getting paid for and break everything down for you so that when you go to a cell site, you feel like you're part of the experience as well. And, we're not just training on this is the perfect case scenario. Once we come to cell sites that have vegetation or power lines, or you would have to have operations over moving vehicles or people, we also film that and say, this is how you would mitigate a lot of these risks. So we tried to take all of the questions that could potentially come up or the hiccups that could potentially come up and incorporate that into the training. So that's a quick overview of the platform. I'll try to share my screen here. I think there's a couple questions that came in, but can't see. So let's see if we can share the screen. So this is a little bit about the platform itself. I don't know if all these pop-ups are coming up, but here's kind of the introductory picture. Go
Real
ahead.
quick, like, Kyle, I just want to make sure that we let the attendees know that you're sharing your screen. And so if they're seeing it a little bit smaller, that was intended because it's
Yes.
live, a live demo.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. And it never goes right the first time.
Never
Kyle,
does.
where have you been? Can't wait to meet you.
Well, I've been working, and I think
Yes.
that's also part of the problem is the people who have enough experience to teach this are still working. Like I still run a drone service provider company, and we have a project we're working on in Southern California where we have 50 pilots in the field right now. So, we're still very busy doing that, but I'm also trying to go all in on getting this thing live. And actually, just like 5 minutes before this started, I finally got the notification that Apple, the iOS store, has approved our mobile app. So there will be a mobile app
Yes,
version.
finally. Oh my God, I've been hounding those guys forever, and not on just the drone stuff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Charlotte. We'll talk later.
Okay,
I'm in
sounds
San
good.
Diego as well. With
Okay.
Chromodome.
Very cool.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you. It's if anybody ever decides to launch an app, the biggest headache will be getting Apple's iOS store to approve it. It's taken
Yes.
probably 8 weeks and
8 weeks. It
10
normally
back and
takes
forths.
10 months. It normally takes 9 months. So you're
Okay. Well, then
yeah,
I feel fortunate.
yeah.
It was a long 8 weeks. It felt like 10 months.
Yeah, they're my customers. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
sounds
So it
awesome. Thanks.
yeah, and we've had some help with people who have done it before, so that made the process a little more seamless. But I felt like every time they came back with a question, it's like, man, we're just trying to put out information and education. We're not trying to do anything too crazy.
You're lucky you didn't try to do it like a year ago or 2 years ago. So trust me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Well, we started this project a year ago, but we just started with them probably 2 months ago. So good timing on that. But yeah, so this is the platform. Kind of the introductory page. Once you get out of here, it navigates similar to social media. You'll have a news feed, and you can kind of customize it, and it's very similar to all the social media platforms out there. The more you engage, the more you do, the more the platform recognizes that you like. So it starts to show you the things that you like more than just, whatever pops up. So, in our welcome and introduction, we have, kind of a welcome page where you come in and introduce yourself and about yourself and your goals. We have just an open discussion forum, and this is all stuff, if you're on the platform, you have access to. It doesn't require a subscription. We have a how to navigate through, it's a different platform. So we kind of went through and recorded a lot of training material. Now that the app is going to be live, I'll be able to go in and record some training material for how you navigate the app. And then we also have our podcast, which, is kind of two different versions. One, we interview people and kind of talk about the future of work in the industry. And then we have a break off that's more catered to our platform, FTD Launch, that talks about a lot of the how-tos and how to get involved and how to break into the industry. And then, like I mentioned, we have our 3 different memberships here. So up here at the top, we have our basic membership, which is more for beginner level. And it introduces you to each industry. It's going to be, show you a little bit about how you could get into the industry, show you a little bit about how to work in the industry, some safety things that maybe you're not privy to if you haven't worked in the space before. And then we go down to our premium membership, and this is where we start to get into the technical teachings, so that, our goal is when you leave a premium membership course, you can go work in that space and feel comfortable and feel confident. You have access to this at any time as you get out in the field. Some of these big contracts that happen all over the country, you can confidently hop on these and do well. And then our VIP membership, which is our advanced level membership, is where we start to bridge from a contract pilot into how to run a business in the drone space. And also, it's catered towards individual pilots who are looking to network and onboard. So one of the cool features, and this is something that'll continue to be a work in progress over the first 6 to 12 months. Currently, we have about 15 businesses that have gone through our training and endorsed it. And so at the end of taking one of our advanced level courses, once you've completed it, it will network you with companies that work in that industry and that are either currently hiring or looking to hire in the near future. So you will have access to HR departments or to hiring managers, and you can reach out and say, hey, I've just completed this course. I'm looking to potentially hop on to any contracts that you guys have. And because these companies have seen our training and endorsed it, you know, they put you at the top of their hire list rather than, you know, just add you to the roster and continue to grow. And so for us, the businesses, it's been great because they come in, they get qualified pilots coming to them rather than having to post in the Facebook forums and say, hey, I need 15 pilots. We just started this huge contract. And out of those 15, 2 work out. And so you kind of go through that cycle, and it's taxing. Yeah, I've been there and done that before we started this process. So that is one of the cool features. Outside of that, we'll also have business development courses in there beyond just our basic training in industries. So that part I'm excited about. Like I'm most passionate about getting to work with people and helping them build their business, build their brand. That is what gets me most excited about this. We just so happen to be busy as heck with, inspection work. So, we're currently on a project doing about 1.2 million poles across Southern California. And as soon as we're done, we're heading over to Virginia to do another 1 million poles. So I enjoy that. And I love to see the people come on board and succeed. But this is what really excites me, what I'm most passionate about moving forward in the industry, because I think it's been missing for a long time. And I'm really excited about bringing this to the table. And I think kind of one of the cool things too is we've gone through with the businesses and shown them what we're doing, and they've gone through and vetted our coursework. Out of the 15 businesses that we've talked to, I think 10 or 12 of them have said, hey, how would we get our own version of this?
Exactly.
Where we can use your training that
It's
you
called
already
train the
have
trainer.
developed. Yeah, that you've already developed, but we would also like you to take our outlines and build out customized training. And we want our people to be exclusive to it. Because it's, if they go through the telecom course and they're networked with 6 different companies, they say, hey, well, we don't want them to have access to these other 5 companies. We want them to be exclusive to us. So build us a specific spot on this platform that's white labeled to our company, and let our pilots come in and train that way. So it's been an ever evolving project. I think, we started out with this really small idea, and it's grown so big. And so, that's part that we are building out as we were waiting on Apple to approve us. Now that they have, we'll kind of put our launch plan and marketing campaign together, and actually put it out in the world and start getting feedback so that we can continue to navigate and service people who need this.
That is fantastic. So exciting to see that this is out there. Congratulations again on your approval, because I know those are huge hurdles that you've had to go through. And so can you elaborate a little bit more on the different levels and the training that is involved with each of those levels?
Yeah. So we have like I said, it's a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. Our beginner level is our basic level. And so it introduces you to each industry. And my vision when creating it this way was, if you're an ambitious drone pilot who's looking for an opportunity, you can come in and if you have not taken your Part 107 exam, you have training and you can study for that. Simultaneously, because you can get burnt out trying to study for that. Simultaneously, you can look at industries like utility inspections and see if it's something that resonates with you. You can look at mapping and photogrammetry. You can look at telecom infrastructure inspections. You can look at real estate, which, I know a lot of people talk about being such a saturated market, but in my experience, if you are more than just a drone taking photos, it's not a very saturated market. So we kind of talk about how to expand on that. We even include stuff like virtual scans because, Matterport tours are a part of deliverables in a lot of drone spaces. We use it a lot in telecom, we use it a lot in real estate, and we use it a lot in construction and modeling. So we even teach stuff like that. And so you can go through and say, hey, these are the 2 or 3 things that I find the most interesting. Maybe I have a little bit of a network in. It's what I want to explore. And so once you've gone through the basic courses and identified those, you can advance to our premium membership, which now gives you access to specialized training. And like I said, once you leave our premium level coursework, you will feel confident going out and doing work. And again, having the mobile app and being able to access it out in the field if you have questions. It's not a feature that's live yet because we didn't want to break everything when we started, but
You want design partners to help build it the right way, Kyle.
Yeah,
Trust
yeah, and
me.
yeah, and so we've done that, and we've
want
said, hey,
feedback.
let's build the foundation, and then here's all the crazy ideas that I have that I want you guys to build in after we launch and fix all the things that are going to break.
We want
So
your feedback, customer.
Yeah, so one of the features, again, this will be more of our premium level or our VIP level, is you'll have a video chat feature where you're going to have different industry experts who are, essentially on call. And if you have questions in the field, like you can actually try to video chat in and say, hey, I'm having this, I can't get my drone to launch. Don't know what's going on. Here's all the things I've gone through. What could potentially be the issue? Because I know for me personally, coming up, going to a construction site and trying to fly and the drone won't launch and you can't figure out why. You can't figure out if it's the mapping software or if it's a DJI geofence or if the drone is having some kind of issue. All of those things can deter you. And I think it's an industry where if people can have a little bit of success, then they'll grow on it. And if you get into it and people don't have success pretty quickly, they'll leave the industry. And so I see the biggest problem in our industry, one is education and access to it for pilots themselves. But 2, as an industry trying to grow and evolve into, I hear all these crazy numbers. I've heard from 20 billion to 100 billion by 2030. I think for us to get to some of those numbers, there has to be access to more pilots who are qualified to do this type of work. And so for me, this was a kind of a 2-part problem solve is we can educate the pilots so that there's more of them available. And as they're available, we can then simultaneously help all these businesses that maybe they tried it and had a really bad experience, or they haven't tried it because they're scared to and they can't find the right people. We can try to help also open up that so that now we can continue to help with supply and demand. So if we can create supply, then we can simultaneously create demand. I think that's how we grow the industry to some of these numbers we're talking about. Because right now I see a huge bottleneck and, a little bit of gatekeeping. And so this platform was intended to break all of those walls down.
Oh, it's exciting to see it unfolding. We do have a question in our chat.
Okay.
And so Sam was asking about, is this virtual? I know you mentioned that there was a level of in-person training. Does it just start off as all virtual, or how does that process work?
Yeah, so the platform is currently virtual. We do have in our VIP membership, there'll be 2 options or I guess one option will be live, still virtual, with cohort sessions where we'll still go through the training material, but like I said, they'll come with homework assignments where we go out and work with either local site owners for telecom or utility companies who are okay with us going to fly some of their infrastructure. And, we provide data to them for free. You get some experience and some review. One of the things with our utility stuff is we have journeyman linemen involved. So you're going to get not just a perspective from a drone pilot who's done it for a long time. You're also going to have a journeyman lineman who's done preventative maintenance for 30 years. Looking at these photos and kind of having those conversations with you. So that part it'll be virtual, but it'll be live. And then we are going to have live in-person training. Right now we've got it set up to be quarterly, but, kind of prepared for if the demand is high enough, then we'll do monthly. we will cater to what the demand is. If it's, hey, we got to have it every week, then we'll have it every week. It's, I'm not
Well-
opposed to that. Like I said, this is what I enjoy the most. I can probably find somebody to run the drone service provider part of our company and just focus on this.
Awesome. So, following up to that as well. So one thing that you just mentioned was the homework. That makes it accountable. And a
Mhm.
lot of times we don't see that aspect of it. So that's awesome that you've incorporated that part of it. Are these trainings that you offer, are they self-paced, or are there
Yes.
certain accountable goals that you have to reach by a certain time?
Yeah, so if you just sign up for the memberships, then yeah, they're self-paced. You go at your own pace. It's not I initially set them up to be you have to complete one module to go to the next, but I unlocked that feature because you may be out in the field and need to access training to a certain aspect so that you can figure out what's going on in the field or troubleshoot. And I didn't want, because you haven't gone through the previous 3 modules, for you to be unable to access that. So I did unlock that feature. The cohort style classes, yes, those will be paced by the actual course itself, and we'll go through and have, like I said, we'll have you go through the training during the week, and then when we do our weekly meetups, it's we're doing review sessions, we're doing question and answers, and we're reviewing homework. So it I think it does add that accountability feature. And I'm even mentioned in all of our, so like once you sign up is, hey, you've committed to spend some money, you've committed to invest a lot of time. And if you're willing to commit this, and this, then here's the commitment we give back to you. And that's to try to make you as successful as you can be in this industry. But just signing up and giving us money doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Here's what we need from you, and here's what you can expect from us.
That's fantastic. Yes. Make it accountable.
Yes, ma'am.
Put some money, put yourself in the game, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the homework is identify 3 target accounts that you want to go after with this new information is
Yeah.
another homework assignment.
Yeah,
Trust
absolutely.
me, Kyle, I'll be chasing you.
I love it. I'm all for it.
And then another question into our chat was, do you have a target launch date? I know part of it is rolled out, but do you have a launch date?
So we don't have an official launch date yet. The platform is being used. So like I said, we have this big project going on in Southern California. We have about 30 pilots flying directly for us, and we're scaling up to about 50. And then there's another vendor on it who's also using our training. So it's all on our platform, but we should, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, have an official launch date. One of the big things, because we set it for, we're going to launch at Commercial UAV Expo, and then I'm like, okay, I still don't have the app back. I don't want to launch without the app, so we've been pushing back our launch date, waiting on the app to come in. And like I said, I just got the email like 5 minutes before that it's been approved. I don't know if there is any more of the process to go through. I'll have to figure that out, but in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have our official launch, and we'll have a ton of marketing campaign and stuff like that all over the internet. And, I'm going to bug Amy and Vic and slide in some promotion into the commercial group. And
There you go. Oh, I see someone with their hand up. Go
Me.
ahead. Wait a
Hey,
second.
Kyle, thanks for everything. Angela here. Are your employees contracted when you say you have like 30 people out there? So are they independent contractors that you're hiring with sales, just kind of like to do a certain job, or do you have full-time employees in your company?
we have both, mostly 1099 contractors, just because people like to maximize what they can earn. And, we've had employees that eventually transition to contractors because they get really good at what they do. And I don't want them to be limited on earning potential because they're W-2 employees. So, we put bonus programs in place. And, one of my favorite stories is Mackenzie. We actually have, I think he's on our YouTube channel with kind of our employee spotlight, but he went from never flown drones before to you know, a year and a half later, he got to the point where he was outperforming every milestone or bonus program we put in place for him. So he transitioned to a contractor, and I think this year he'll make about $250,000. And you know, I typically won't say what people make, but he puts it out there, and he wants people to know that this is what you can do if you really, you know, apply yourself and go all in. And you know, he travels the whole country, so I know that's a restriction that a lot of people have. But we do have some W-2 employees, but mostly 1099 contractors.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about the certificate or once it's completed? What does a pilot, what can they expect after they have gone through the program in
Yes.
terms of like that type of training?
Okay. Yeah. So you'll get on the platform itself, you'll actually get like a badge. And so on your profile, as you complete all these different courses and different levels, you'll get all these badges. So if you start on the basic course and go all the way through and complete the majority of them, and then do the same thing on the premium and then all the way through the VIP, you'll look like a war veteran with all these badges. And then you also, for the VIP stuff, when you're networking with companies, you do get certificates, excuse me, that will say you've completed this course, and you know, they know to expect it. And so you shoot an introductory email and say, this is who I am, this is the training I've gone through, here's the certificate of completion. And you know, they'll reach back out and say, hey, thanks, these are the projects we're working on. If you're available to go to these areas, then great. And if not, we'll let you know as soon as something comes available in your area.
Okay, that sounds exciting as well. Can you elaborate a little bit more? You mentioned during your presentation here about you have during the homework part of it that they go out and they reach out into industry and try to pursue jobs and such like that. Do you, what kind of guidance do you give them for that? Do you have make that connection for them and say, here, we've gone through the training? What type of guidance do you give in that respect?
Yeah, so that we provide all of that, as much help as you feel like you need. You know, I don't want to do it for you because I want it to be part of the experience is, you know, reaching out and getting told no and learning how to get better at, you know, pitching yourself, pitching your services. But I for the VIP courses, when you network with these companies, they're already expecting you. They've gone through our training. They've endorsed it. A lot of them are going to have actually like their own platform within our community. So they expect it. They're kind of putting you at the top of the pilot list. And, you know, beyond that, like part of the training, especially with the cohort stuff, is, you know, tell me the 3 customers you are most excited to work with and why, and then let's build from there on how we connect with them.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a great approach to it. So I believe Charlotte says that she's trying to raise her hand because she has another question. And then I have another question into our chat. I love this. Let's keep it going. It's very interactive that way. Charlotte, you had a question?
I'm raising my hand here. I'm jumping up and down because I have 45 years in this business on the technology side, teaching people how to use these things called personal computers. On the typewriter. Well, you have a couple extra keyboards. So you are music to my ears, Kyle. And you're right here in San Diego?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I
Oh my
live in
gosh,
San Marcos.
where
Yeah.
have you been? We've been so, to your point, we have been so focused on the tactical. How do we get permits at Petco Park?
Mhm.
We are down to the wire. So tomorrow we do a site visit. Guys, everybody announce. We got in. We're flying out of the dugout on 9/24. So
Wow.
it's huge. It is huge. But it's building the army. How do you build? Once you get there, it's like, what's your mission, right? It's all about the mission. And then what do you have to do to get to that mission? I come from a training background. So I'm like, always like, okay, we get all excited. So now what do we do?
Yep.
So that's why we need you. We need the trained pilots. How do we certify on the Starlink, this brand new thing no one's ever seen before? I have footage that my new executive producer can't even keep up with. And I'm just, you know, the executive catalyst over here working with Promodrone. So this is such a wonderful blueprint that, and I'm so glad you're local. So we should definitely talk offline because it's how do you inspire and compel these guys? And the AGT, I don't know if you guys saw Sky Limit. I mean, that really put drone technology as a communication vehicle on the map. So we're all joking online. I don't know if you saw that, but it's like demystifying these scary little things called drones, right? And now
Yeah.
how to help inspire those saturated markets. This has been my vision for 7 years. And it's so fun that to hear you guys and everyone that I've been involved with. So
Very
thank
exciting. Yes.
very exciting.
Very exciting.
But my
Yeah.
question
And then
was,
Oh,
how do
okay.
you
I was going to
certify?
segue to the next one.
Well, one question. My question is, how do you certify on new platforms? Because I want to get certified pilots certified with you on the Starling, and we'll
Yeah.
take it offline, Kyle.
Yeah, we can talk more offline. One
Absolutely.
thing, I mean, this is, you know, I'm trying to present. This is going to be us over the next 6 to 12 months. I mean, long-term goals is, you know, I would love to create a universal certification, you know, amongst, you know, as many people that will sign up and join, whether it's businesses, utility companies, you know, telecom companies, just trying to create some type of universal certification where they say these are the criteria that we need within the training to feel comfortable. And, you know, that way we can try to create a universal standard. And that's something that we'll continue to work on and strive for. One of the things we've done, if we've worked with FEMA for about the past year or so, trying to incorporate with some of their other, like their 100 series, 200 series, 800 and 900 series for emergency response, some of the certifications that they want you to have before you go and do storm damage work. And yet a lot of the journeymen have to have, and drone pilots are starting to make them have it. But, you know, how do we create a training that is FEMA backed that says these are the things we need? Because I think one of the biggest things that gets overlooked in the you know, in the emergency response, especially with utility companies, is in order to get a full FEMA reimbursement, you have to prove the condition of the pole before it happened. You have to show the damage, and then you have to show the repair. And 95% of the time, they don't have a photo showing the condition of the pole before. 75% of the time, the journeymen who are trying to get the lights back on don't take a photo of the during. They just take a photo of the after and hope that they're going to get something reimbursed. And so how do we go about kind of rewriting that and creating a standard where there is an online database of how everything looked before? And, you know, how do we go through training with pilots to say, hey, we need during and we need after, and we need to find a universal way to show all of this so that these utility companies and, you know, whether co-op or muni have an opportunity to get more of a reimbursement for the line that they have to fix. So things like that will continue to evolve on over the next year or so as we launch the platform and navigate based on what customer response is.
So have you actively been participating when we talk about standards? Have you been participating in developing out standards throughout the industry as well?
Yeah, so we've had the discussions. We haven't put a ton of pen to paper. It's all been kind of preliminary discussion. And, you know, I feel like once we get launched and see the direction that we're going and kind of make adjustments, then, you know, I feel like we'll get enough people talking about it to maybe sit down and have a conversation. And whoever that is, I don't know who in the industry that would be. I have ideas of who it might be, but I also know there's a lot of people that are high up that have enough on their plate going on right now. So we will continue to have that conversation, very open to have that conversation if and when somebody does have an idea or wants to sit down and talk about it, and, you know, kind of try to set that standard.
Yeah, standards are essential, and it is evolving and rolling it out. Circling back over to our chat, Jill had asked about what equipment do you need to do this work?
Yeah, I mean, any equipment for the project in Southern California, it's a Mavic 3 Enterprise with the RTK module. And if you have a base station, you can use it. You can also use in-trip service. So what we're doing is we're modeling all of the poles for the fiber companies, and it's all part of the California Public Utility Commission's General Order 95. So it's a state compliance piece that essentially says, here's the poles, here's the load management for each of these poles. And the fiber company is saying that if there is structural damage, it's not being caused by us being attached to these poles. And so it's all part of the ongoing wildfire mitigation efforts here in Southern California.
Okay, awesome. So, a little comment on a side note there. Brian wants to know if he can bring his Avata 2 to Petco. So, yeah.
What?
And then, so I have another question in here from James. How do you verify the competency?
Of pilots?
Yes. I'm
So I
assuming.
think, yeah, I mean, it's if you're just taking the virtual training, it's difficult to do so. If you're talking about like us hiring, then, you know, we'll typically see it in the data. You know, they go through the training. I mean, it's a small enough industry that, you know, a lot of people know people. So as we have people on board, somebody will reach out, no, I know that guy, he's great, he worked on this project. But you know, as far as us hiring, you usually see it in the data. We usually do some in-person training. So the virtual training will get you 90% of the way there. And it also helps you, you know, in the field. Once you get past the, you know, there's the whole CRM process, there's the data management and upload process, and all those things are, you know, specific to each project. So you have access to that at the end of the day, and you can go through that a couple of times until it becomes routine. But the actual in-field competency, we usually do an in-flight test and just say, hey, here's a couple of poles. You know, I'm going to fly it and just kind of show you everything you've seen in the training. If you have questions, ask, and then we'll let you get up in the air and fly a little bit. And, you know, we're keeping an eye out for, you know, is safety a priority? Are you performing a pre-flight or a tailboard to, you know, verify that all potential risks are mitigated? Where we do fly, it's right off of Palomar Airport, so you don't need Lance approval. But like, I just, hey, are you going to look? Because there's low flying private jets coming in all the time. So just looking at stuff like that, and even if you don't, it's a good teaching opportunity, because a lot of people who have not worked on bigger projects before don't have that embedded into their process. And so it's a great opportunity to teach them, hey, here's some things to go through before you do launch and things to keep in mind. You know, as far as actually operating the drone, I think a lot of people are very competent. That's one thing this project has showed me, is that we've had a lot of pilots who had no experience, and they're killing it. They're making incredible money, and, you know, they're doing a great job. And so I think there's a lot of pilots out there who are like that. And it just, to me, it reaffirms that we're doing the right thing by getting people qualified, so that we can then go push back on the industry and say, you need to expand, and more people need to take the chance and take the opportunity to utilize drones in their workflows.
All right. So I'm going to segue over to our chat again. We are kind of running up towards the top of the hour, so I know I need to crunch some stuff in. Angela said, what type of upfront investment costs are there, and are you working with educational institutions? That's a great question.
Yeah, so that's another one of the things on top of the you know, trying to create a standard and having the businesses come over. That was another thing that, you know, we got approached about, that caught me off guard and added and expanded the platform. So yes, I've talked to Jay up at Fullerton Drone. I've met with Wing over here at Palomar College, just some of the local colleges, and, you know, also talked to a couple different institutions about how we can build this out and incorporate it into college programs, so that, you know, I think a lot of times these college kids come out with knowledge on how to build and code and program, but have no idea how to actually apply any of that to real world experience. Or, you know, like the Palomar College here does that. They have a GIS program. So they teach a very little bit about drone operations, mostly about GIS. And so the kids come out, and, you know, they're flying older equipment, and they come out, and it's difficult to translate into the real world. And so
Yes.
I'm hoping that we can eventually bridge that gap. And then as far as the price goes, yes, I forgot to mention that in the presentation. So our basic membership is $19 a month or $149 a year. our premium membership is $79 a month or $7.99 a year. And then our VIP membership is $129 a month or $9.99 a year. And so, like I said, it gets you, if you're the VIP membership, gets you access to the entire platform. So you get the basic, the premium, and the VIP training. You get the business. There's other features it comes with, live Q&A sessions, one-on-one calls, stuff like that are outside of your kind of the normal presentation we went through. And like I said, this will all be in kind of webinar marketing material as we get ready to launch. But that's the price point on the 3 levels.
Awesome. Very affordable, when you think about investing in your future.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell us, just because I know we are really running up at the top of the hour here, can you tell us just really briefly about if somebody was going to look into it further and when they get to your site, what would be some of the steps they would do to actually get started or get that ball rolling?
Yeah. So when you come to the landing page, and I think I can actually sign out, and let's see. So yeah, when you come to the website, it's like most online platforms where it says, sign up. And so you click to sign up. And when you do, you'll put in all your information to create a profile, and then it'll say select your plan. And so we have, our membership levels. And then if you're a part of another organization that has their own spot on there, you would just select that. And you'd have to answer some security questions to get to other parts of the platform. But for our stuff, you would just sign up and select your plan. It comes with, I think right now it's set to a 3-day free trial. I'll have to double check on that, but I think it's set to a 3-day free trial currently so that you can access all the information. If you have absolutely nothing to do for 72 hours, then you might be able to get through half of the coursework for free. But so after the 3 days, it would just start charging the monthly or the annual fee, and then you have access to everything. But it's a pretty simple process to sign up. You fill out your profile information. Once you get on there, you can go in depth and do your about me, add your certifications. We've got the Part 107, the OSHA, the thermography, all those certifications that you can add to your profile as you complete courses. It adds badges to your profile. And another cool feature on there is you can connect with local pilots. Like you can set up a perimeter, an area that you want to be connected with, and it'll show you all the local pilots in that area, and you can direct message them. You can, however you want, you can reach out to them. And so it's, like I said, it's an online education platform, but to me, it's more than that. It's a community where there's a little bit of social media, kind of the best of social media. There's not going to be the BS. We're going to be closely monitoring and, have a pretty low tolerance for the bullying or the negativity that goes on, especially to new pilots who come on and ask questions. Like we've all asked those questions before. I've asked those questions. So the hatred and the negativity that comes that I see in a lot of the Facebook forums, that won't be allowed. You'll still be allowed to be on the platform. You just won't be able to comment on anything anymore. So, we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, it's a best of social media, best of online training, but most of all, a community.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because you get to where you don't want to ask questions, but yet we need to ask questions if we're going to advance ourselves and learn and keep things safe. And obviously, safety is my #1 priority. So,
Yes, ma'am.
So I do not think we're going to be able to address all of the questions that are being asked into our chat. So what I would like to do, is it possible that you put your contact information in there? And then I'm going to do one last thing and put you totally on the spot. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Is there a Women in Drones discount?
Yeah, so there'll be a Women in Drones and
Of course there is.
and a military discount. So those will actually be separate plans, because just the way the things built right now is you can't just click this and do it. And for me, I want to trust that if you're a Women in Drones member, you're just going to come in and do it. So what I might have for the Women in Drones is tell me your name, and then I'll verify with you, like, hey, is this a Women in Drones member? And then the veteran thing is also, it'll be the same discount. but yes, there will be discounts for that. There will be discounts for college students. Like I wanted to make this, you know, obviously it costs money to run this and to build
gotta
this
keep the
out
lights
and
on.
to keep training going. But you know, it's to me, I wanted this to be so affordable that even if you sign up for a year on the VIP membership, you can go from I've never thought about drones before to I can now go and make 6 figures comfortably and have access to start building a business within 12 months. And I can do all that for $9.99. And so, you know, for me, a lot of the courses that you see out there, like some of these high-end, you know, mapping courses and stuff run you $750 to $1,000 and you get lifetime access, but you just get access to mapping. Whereas with this, you get access to, on our VIP level, there's over 20 courses. And so, you know, you're going to have, to me, it's a great return on investment if you're willing to invest the time. You know, the money's part of it. The time is the most important part. If you're willing to put in the time and the effort, then we have a ton of people that are a part of this platform that I'm paying to pay a lot of attention to this platform to help build you up, answer your questions, eliminate the gatekeeping, and provide you with real access to working in the real world.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you. I did put you on the spot. We didn't talk about it at all before, but so we greatly appreciate it. And
Yes,
that's a
ma'am.
good way to do it. Yeah. Have everybody reach out to you because that's what we want to do anyways, right?
Yeah.
Without
If you guys, I
networking.
saw somebody posted that if you want to connect, you know, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can go to my personal page. It's Kyle New. You can go to our full-time drones pages. I somewhat keep an eye on those. But yeah, just, I mean, if you reach out to me personally, I'd love to connect with whoever wants to connect and have those conversations. If you join the platform, like you can add me to
Oh,
your
right.
network and direct message me. Like I'm not too big to not message you back and answer your questions. You know, it might take me some time because I think a lot of people are going to start reaching out, but you know, I will get back to you eventually.
Awesome. Okay. So I did put your LinkedIn
Okay.
into the chat. So reach
Okay.
out to them via LinkedIn right there, right? The professional platform.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then we have only 3 minutes left, and that way I try not to take up everybody's time because I know they've got other meetings to go to. But do you want to give us one last shout out, recommendation, or anything before we say our goodbyes for 1 week?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I love being a part of stuff like this. And thanks for everybody who attended. You know, I appreciate an hour of your life. It's, you know, you got a lot of other things you could be doing. And, you know, if you do decide to come and be a part of the community where, you know, I greatly appreciate that. And, you know, hopefully you take a lot out of it. If you get on the platform and have feedback or recommendations, like, please bring it to me. I'm not perfect. I built it the way I thought it needs to be built based on my experiences and our pilots' experiences. But, you know, I know there's a lot of people in the world who learn a lot of different ways. And so I'd like to try to cater to as many of those as we can.
Awesome. Wonderful. All right. With that, we will wrap it up for this week. And thank you so much, Kyle. I do know there's been a lot of conversation going on in the chat. Definitely save the chat. All right. There's
Yes,
3
ma'am.
dots that'll give you more. They used to be on the bottom. Now they're on the top, I think. And you hit those 3 dots and it'll say save the chat. So much good information. Plus, we're all about networking.
Yes,
We got to
ma'am.
network today. We could join Kyle's platform and network more.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And we will see everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
next
Thank you.
week. All right. Bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Great session.
Thank you.
Kyle, give me a call.
I will.
924 is right around the corner. Thank
It
you
is.
so
Yeah, it's
much.
next Tuesday.
Yeah, it is. I'll ping you after my next call.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Desi.
Bye. See everybody next week. That kind of wraps it up.